answer is always yes. But we're out here trying to cheer everybody on, everyone coming through. We're at that point, the Exchange 12, where they're handing over the so-called baton and the next runners are going through and up and over the Hawthorne Bridge. So let's take a look at your current conditions and show you how things are looking out and about. Right here at Portland, of course, 81 degrees. There we go, dew point 50, wind out of the west at 9 miles per hour. Thank goodness for that westerly flow out in the gorge. It is gorgeous. Nice westerly flow going through the gorge there. Wind speeds between about 15 to 20. So for your weekend forecast at the coast, well, if you're part of the run, you should be aware that there's a chance that you might see some light rain Saturday morning. Temperature of 65 for the high overall. Should be clearing up and drying out by the end of the day, though. Sunday looks good. Partly cloudy skies, 66. In the valley tomorrow, we're expecting a few clouds to stick around. Temperatures will be in the mid-70s Saturday and Sunday. And then things start getting pretty warm after that. In the gorge this weekend, we're expecting 80 and 82 overall. Still a little bit windy for you, though, through the gorge tomorrow. And up at Mount Hood, we're expecting mostly sunny skies tomorrow, 63, 61. Looking really good this weekend for everybody. So let's check out your forecast heading through the weekend. Yeah, a few clouds in the mix, but then what's popping up on the map? Yep, we got some rain showing up, but this is the light variety. It's associated with an area of low pressure that, for the most part, is going to be impacting areas to the north. But as it cruises through the coastline, again, we might get a few sprinkles early Saturday morning. And then out of there by Saturday afternoon, just a few clouds lingering around Portland. Everywhere else, we're looking really good, especially on Sunday. Sunday's a really clear day for us. On to Monday and Tuesday, though, now higher pressure is taking over in a very big way. And temperatures that you're used to seeing in August, oh, they'll be here. We are talking about the 90s for us. Now focusing on Portland tomorrow morning, 61, mostly sunny skies, partly cloudy for the afternoon. Again, highs right around 76 for you. Really good feeling forecast. There for your 7-day, look at what happens here. So Tuesday, we get up to 90. Wednesday and Thursday, there's the potential to see, up to 93. But perhaps even hotter, so you want to stay tuned as we get closer to that time period. And look at those overnight lows in the mid to low 60s. Friday's high, 87, so the summer heat doesn't last all that long, just about 3 days in a row. But overall, feeling pretty good. And I think all these runners here are just grateful it's not 90-something. I know, Jennifer has done this run in the past, and she's experienced more extreme heat out here. So I'd say it really doesn't get any better than this in August for your forecast for Hood to Coast. And no matter what you're doing this weekend, it looks to be a pretty good one. We're going to send it back to you.
That was my leg. I was runner 12.
Like 98?
Oh, I think it was higher than that. Plus, you're coming in on the spring water there, so it's no trees, the hot pavement. That was tough. That was a few years ago.
You were chasing comedian Kevin Hart, right?
One of the years, yeah. I can't remember which year it was.
I remember because when he finished, we had him on air, and everyone wanted to talk to him. He's like, I'm tired. I don't want to talk to anybody.
I'm done.
Right, exactly.
Okay, Natasha, we'll check back in with you. Thanks. Still ahead, high fashion is taking on hot climate. How the fashion industry plans to go green. Plus,
the president orders U.S. companies to start looking for an alternative to China. I'm Natalie Brand at the White House with why trade tensions are worsening.
The federal government wants to make it easier for veterans to start and keep small businesses.
Bree Jackson reports the Small Business Administration this week renewed its commitment to entrepreneurs who first served the country.
During a visit to the White House, Quincy, Illinois Mayor Kyle Moore says addressing veterans' issues is a top priority for his community.
First and foremost, the care and support of our veterans.
Moore says that includes much-needed improvements to Illinois' Veterans Home.
The Trump administration is partnering with the state of Illinois to invest over $200 million at the Illinois Veterans Home in Quincy. And this is a post-Civil War facility that provides health care and retirement to our heroes.
In addition to health care, White House officials say they're focused on helping veterans transition from the battlefield into the workforce. Last year, President Trump donated his second quarter salary of nearly $100,000 to the Small Business Administration. Officials tell me some of that money is being used to help veteran-owned businesses.
How do you scale? How do you get to that next level? And that's where this next program is going to take it.
Chris Pilkerton, acting administrator of the Small Business Administration, says the president's paycheck helped fund a recently launched pilot program that includes training military veterans and their spouses to be successful entrepreneurs. Pilkerton says the agency is also working to connect small business owners with larger companies.
And some of the small businesses are going to learn how can we get some of the best practices that the large businesses are using in incorporating veterans into some of the things we do.
Officials say they hope to equip veterans with the business skills and resources they need to grow. In Washington, Bree Jackson.
Watching out for your money now, and the market plunged today with tech stocks really taking a huge hit. Apple, Nvidia, and Broadcom all fell between 4% and 5%. The drop came after President Trump tweeted for U.S. businesses to all pull out of China.
Here's how the day ended. The Dow was down 2.4%, the S&P down 2.6%, NASDAQ 3%. Coming up in about 10 minutes, we'll have much more about the president's threat against China.
Wells Fargo will have to pay the Navajo Nation more than $6 million because of alleged shady sales tactics. A lawsuit accused Wells Fargo of using predatory practices on members of the Navajo. That includes opening fake accounts and pressuring non-English speaking elderly people to enroll in unnecessary services. The Navajo Nation spans 3 states, Arizona, New Mexico, and Utah. Wells Fargo is the only national bank in their territory as of 2017.
Some of the biggest fashion brands are joining together in the name of conservation. 32 fashion houses, including Chanel, Nike, and Armani, signed an environmental pact ahead of the G7 summit this weekend. Its 3 objectives focus on stopping global warming, restoring biodiversity, and protecting the oceans. Fashion contributes to pollution through manufacturing emissions and plastic use.
It's 4:30. We want to catch you up on some of our top stories. Forest Grove police are on the lookout for a man. They say he broke into a new event center, which is under construction there, and stole electrical scrap wire worth about $400. Forest Grove police say they have seen a rise in metal thefts recently, and in this video you can see him trying to shove all that wiring into a bag.
11 Oregon Republican senators who walked out and refused to vote on a climate change bill will not have to pay their fines. Today, the president of the Senate withdrew the $500 a day fines. Democrats said imposing them would just lead to lengthy litigation costing taxpayers money. Now, Democrats instead hope to give voters the opportunity to change the Constitution and prevent further walkouts.
A new lawsuit involving accused Mac stabber Jeremy Christian was announced today. The city of Portland is filing a lawsuit that if the city is found liable for the Mac stabbing deaths, Christian should contribute financially, since the suit argues that he is responsible for the attack. 2 people were killed in the attack that happened in 2017. 1 man survived. Christian has pleaded not guilty to more than a dozen charges related to the 2017 attack. He is set to stand trial in January.
Now to a local crime victim who was showered with support from the community.
That bicyclist was hurt last weekend in Oregon City when police say a driver followed him, ran into his bike, and then assaulted him.
Our Amy Frazier has more from Oregon City.
Well, I'd like to present you with this new bike.
At Hamilton's Appliance in Gladstone,
I love it.
Denny Payne felt like a kid again as he adjusted the seat and pedaled outside to take his new bike for a spin.
Unfortunately, sometimes bad things happen, but I hope that he can look at this and see that there's people that care, that want to help out.
on Sunday afternoon.
I was going to the river to take a swim.
Denny was biking along 99E in Oregon City when he swerved to avoid some glass in the bike lane.
Because you get a pop tire, you're walking your bike, and I'd rather ride my bike than walk it.
He says an angry driver started honking and yelling. Denny continued toward Clackamas Park. Investigators say the driver followed, hitting Denny's back bike tire with his van. Denny went flying.
Hit my chest, and he got out and started punching on me and stuff. So
a woman nearby jumped to action.
I did what I felt was necessary to do, the right thing to do, and that was to get out of my car and intervene and yell really loud for the man to stop.
As she called 911, the driver took off, but police tracked him down and arrested 24-year-old Joshua Harmon. He's facing felony assault charges and hit and run.
Never grow up, man. Thanks.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. We're happy to do it, all right?
As word of the attack spread on social media, community members have stepped up with gift cards, messages of support, and, of course, the new bike to replace the one damaged in the attack.
I love it. I'm really happy. It kind of brings a nice thing out of a bad thing, and it's a nice bike. And I'm happy. The people is what matters to me. You know, somebody reached out.
The people are who matters. That was Amy Frazier reporting. By the way, that suspect remains behind bars at the Clackamas County Jail. He is scheduled to face a judge on Monday.
Going 6 is your back-to-school headquarters. We've got the latest scoop on tech that can help students and parents this year. We talked with a tech expert about some must-have upgrades around the house. She recommends a washing machine that can do large loads in less than 30 minutes and a tutoring site to help your students with homework.
Over 40,000 experts are available on Varsity Tutors, which is a live learning platform that connects you to a variety of subjects from elementary level math to AP courses and prep tests like SAT and ACT.
We have more recommendations at coin.com. Just click on special reports and your back to school headquarters. You can also find advice to help you prepare for that after school attitude and morning routine. We also have the first day of school for all of the districts in our area.
Tonight, some homeless people in Portland will rest a little easier thanks to a sizable donation. BedMart presented the Portland Rescue Mission with 50 Tempur-Pedic mattresses today, valued at about $1,000 each. The vice president of marketing for BedMart says this partnership came naturally.
For nearly 3 decades, our family has been in the Portland area. We've been growing our business here with the help of our community, and we feel really strongly to give back to the people who have supported us. So for us, it's really important.
The rescue mission takes in people battling addiction and dealing with homelessness. Each mattress is fitted with protectors as well to help them last a little bit longer.
Coming up, a bold new step in the effort to fight devastating wildfires in the Amazon. Plus,
new research shows dogs may be good for your heart. I'm Hillary Lane with the findings of a new study.
There's a new crash that's on I-205 northbound. This is right before you get to Sandy. So that has traffic really backed up. Look at I-205 northbound there, backed up past Johnson Creek right now. So a very long commute. You won't be able to see this accident from the cameras, but it doesn't look like it's moving too quickly on I-205 northbound. It's reported that 2 lanes are blocked right now. I-205 northbound is 21 minutes there from I-5 to Highway 224. But for that stretch where we're seeing most of the slowing and then the crash on top of that, it's 42 minutes from Highway 224 to I-84. 20 minutes then up to Vancouver. If you take I-5 northbound, it's 32 minutes from the Fremont Bridge to the Interstate Bridge. 11 on I-84 eastbound. Right now inbound on 26, it's 17 minutes from 217 to I-405. And finally, Highway 30 eastbound, 23 minutes from Scappoose to I-405, 24 minutes if headed the opposite direction out to Scappoose.
If you've had a hard day at work or school or something, you know pets can have a big influence on your mood when you get home.
Yeah, going home and petting your dog's the best thing. New research shows those four-legged friends may actually be good for your heart, too. Hillary Lane shows you.
Michael LaBelle takes Rocky and Livia to this park often so they can exercise. But he says he's grateful he gets the physical activity too.
I don't think I would be nearly as active without dogs.
Now, a new study shows owning a pet may help keep your heart healthy. Researchers at the Mayo Clinic looked at more than 1,700 people for their study and compared those who own pets to those who did not.
We found that owning a dog or owning other pets was linked to better cardiovascular health, which were determined by physical activity, better glucose levels, and an ideal diet.
The greatest health boost was for dog owners. Researchers believe that's because of the physical activity they get walking or working out with their dogs.
Other studies suggest owning a dog can have health benefits. Dogs relieve stress and help with relaxation.
They can also help people be more social and feel less lonely.
Having a pet, it seems like it gets associated with a better mood, less likely of the person having depressive symptoms, and an overall sense of well-being and purpose. It's been shown to be tied up to better cardiovascular health.
Joyce Chow adopted Coco about a month ago and says she's already noticed she is moving around more.
I gotta walk more because I gotta walk her.
She says owning a dog is a lot of responsibility, but it's worth all the benefits. Hillary Lane, CBS News, New York.
Of course, you can also try to decrease your time that you spend sitting, eat a good diet with limited processed foods and added sugars, and don't smoke. Those are all ways that you can help maintain good heart health.
Speaking of smoking, health officials in Illinois say a person has died from a lung illness that could be caused by vaping. It could be the first death in the country tied to vaping. Health officials say the person was in the hospital with severe respiratory illness. And yesterday we told you the Centers for Disease Control announced there were 149 cases of severe lung illness across the country that may be tied to vaping.
Still ahead, a health scare for Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Plus,
I'm Anna Warnicki in Washington. One of the best views in D.C. is at the very top of the Washington Monument, but it's been closed for the large part of the past decade. Coming up, I'll tell you why the National Park Service says they're finally ready to reopen its doors and let visitors go all the way to the very top.
Wildfires are tearing through the Amazon forest. Brazil's president said he'll consider sending the military to help fight the fires. More than 75,000 have been spotted in the Amazon rainforest this year, most of which is in Brazil. The fires have burned an area nearly the size of Delaware. Now, roughly 10% of the world's wildlife lives in the Amazon, and conservationists fear many could be wiped out.
The stock market ended the week in a steep decline after President Trump made new threats against China.
Tonight, Natalie Brand reports from the White House.
President Trump lashed out against China, escalating the trade war between the world's two largest economies. This time, the president tweeted directly to U.S. corporations, saying our great American companies are hereby ordered to immediately start looking for an alternative to China, including bringing your companies home and making your products in the USA. The president's reaction came after China announced new tariffs on $75 billion in U.S. products, retaliating against planned U.S. tariff hikes on Chinese imports scheduled for September and December. The president accused China of stealing trillions of dollars in intellectual property, saying, "We don't need China and frankly would be far better off without them."
President Trump called the dust-up with China a great opportunity for the United States, but financial markets are showing the strain.
Stock prices tumbled as investors scrambled to keep up with signals from the White House.
The dissemination of the information and policy is so incoherent and so on a day-to-day basis, we're really only a tweet away from a up or down movement.
The U.S. Chamber of Commerce, weighing in on the latest trade tension, says it shares the president's frustration but wants to see the two sides return to the negotiating table. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
And the president also had harsh words for Fed Chairman Jerome Powell after he suggested the president's trade war with China is contributing to the global economic slowdown. Mr. Trump tweeted, asking who is the bigger enemy, Powell or China's president?
Russia's President Vladimir Putin has ordered the Russian military to respond after a recent U.S. missile test, and that's raising concerns about escalating tensions there. On Sunday, the U.S. tested a cruise missile off the coast of California that struck its target more than 310 miles away. Now, this test would have been banned by a Cold War-era nuclear treaty, but both the U.S. and Russia pulled out this month, with Washington accusing Moscow of violating that pact.
Indeed, the Russian Federation and China would still like a world where the United States exercises self-restraint while they continue their arms buildups, unabated and unabashed.
The Trump administration is demanding answers after a recent mysterious explosion that killed 5 nuclear engineers in Russia. American scientists suspect the explosion happened during the testing of a nuclear-powered cruise missile.
The Defense Department is taking steps to address sex assault in the military.
Mark Liverman reports today an advisory committee issued its recommendations.
Or nothing happened.
Officials from U.S. military branches spoke on behalf of sexual assault victims in the ranks.
There is a value to that victim to publicly state that I was wronged.
Their remarks came during a public meeting in Arlington, Virginia, Friday of a Defense Department's advisory committee, a group Congress put in place.
Failing to pursue, to remove a cancer or a problem within the organization, will have a negative impact on good order and discipline.
A Pentagon report earlier this year revealed sexual assaults in the military rose nearly 38% from 2016 to 2018.
We're all concerned and want to understand if there are circumstances that would dissuade a victim from coming forward.
Committee officials found 59% of soldiers tried for assault were acquitted in 2018 when they went before a panel of military members.
With the impact that a full acquittal can have, you're going to have some leadership, some commanders, some NCOs take care of that Marine and ensure that Marine's well-being.
Earlier this year, Arizona Senator Martha McSally revealed she was raped by a superior officer while serving in the Air Force.
Like you, I am also a military sexual assault survivor.
Senator McSally has called for improvements to the investigation and judicial process of military sex assault. Defense officials say they are working to fix flaws in the system and encourage victims to come forward. Mark Liverman, CBS News.
And there's this. President Trump's pick to be the next vice chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General John Hyten, has been accused of sexual assault. He has denied those allegations. A final vote on his nomination could come early next month.
Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg revealed today she just underwent 3 weeks of radiation treatment. It targeted a cancerous tumor on her pancreas. Now, doctors say there's no sign the cancer spread. The 86-year-old has fought off cancer 3 times since 1999. The Supreme Court begins its new term in October.
Billionaire industrialist and right-wing influencer David Koch has died. He and his brother Charles built a vast political network famous for secret funding and negative advertising against Democrats. The brothers founded the anti-tax group called Americans for Prosperity. Koch was diagnosed with advanced prostate cancer 27 years ago. The Washington Monument has been closed for repairs and renovation for a large part of the past decade.
Now it is just weeks away from finishing the repairs and reopening the monument to visitors.
Anna Warnicki reports park rangers and tourists can't wait.
Looking down the reflecting pool of the Lincoln Memorial.
Standing 555 feet tall, the Washington Monument has towered above the nation's capital for more than a century.
You look to the east to the Capitol, the north right on the White House.
Mike Litters with the National Park Service says hundreds of thousands of tourists flock to the National Mall every year to get a glimpse of the iconic structure.
It's so special.
But for most of the last 8 years, the monument itself has been closed to visitors.
We're so disappointed. We think it's amazing to go up.
A 5.8 magnitude earthquake struck the D.C. area in 2011, leaving over 150 cracks in the monument, forcing the National Park Service to close its doors until 2014 and again in 2016.
We have thoroughly modernized the elevator and have the most state-of-the-art security and screening equipment that an icon of this type needs.
Litter says the National Park Service was able to maintain the monument's historic structure while completely renovating the inside to make it safe for visitors to go all the way to the very top.
We brought it up to 2020 standards, essentially.
Visitors will be able to go inside the monument once again starting September 19th. Lynn and Carol Person say they're already planning another trip back to D.C.
It's something that we have been wanting to do for years, and it just hasn't worked out.
We're looking forward to finally getting it open.
Litter says monument tours will be first come, first serve until the end of October, when visitors will be able to buy tickets online. In Washington, I'm Anna Warnicki.
Amazing all the work that goes into that.
Yeah, okay, hood to coast now. The runners started early this morning, and a lot of them have arrived in Portland now.
Our Natasha Stenbock is at the Hawthorne Bridge, which is one of the main relay points.
Yeah, this is Exchange 12. So at this point, the runners have already gone a total of 77 miles for all the teams. And this is going to be the hottest part of the run. This is that stretch where, yeah, it's all flat, but you don't have any shade. Jennifer and I have both done hood to coast before. And this year we were like, we're going to watch everybody else do it. And you know what? It's very rewarding just to watch everybody come through. Our own team, yeah, the News Hounds, they came through about 3:45. They were doing pretty well, all very positive. And you know what? At this point in the run, you are positive. It's later tonight when it gets a little extra hard, when you have to sleep on the ground and wake up at 3 or 4 in the morning. But this is a fantastic event. Let's talk about your weather and show you what's happening so far. Temperatures right now in the low 80s, so really considering how hot it could be, not doing too bad. Mount Hood Meadows at 69 degrees, and this morning over at Timberline, your temperatures were about 50 to 53 to start off. And Stoller Winery, so far, looking pretty good. Nice, mostly sunny skies overall. As we take a look at the rest of your conditions here, noticing this area of low pressure passing by, really impacting British Columbia and Seattle as well here in the last hour or so. Any chance of seeing that impact our weather? Yeah, it's possible. Tomorrow morning at the coast, you might run into an isolated shower. Temperatures overall be in the mid-60s, but if you're looking for a day to visit the coast without any chance of rain, that would be Sunday. Looking at a high of 66 in the valley tomorrow, and Sunday will be in the mid-70s. Again, your sunniest day will be on Sunday. Checking out your conditions so far for the Gorge. This weekend, we're expecting it to still be kind of windy tomorrow. Wind speeds between about 15 to 20. and temperatures will be in the low 80s. And the Cascades tomorrow, Mount Hood, 63 degrees. Checking out the rest of your forecast here. You'll see a few clouds, high clouds, not really impacting your weather today, but overnight through tomorrow morning, there you go. There's a chance to see a few sprinkles, mostly at the coast, but some of our foothills might pick up just a few drops. Not expecting anything that you could actually measure, though, and overall remaining pretty dry for Saturday. As we get on through Sunday, though, Sunday looks good. Nice, dry, and then high pressure takes over. And we are expecting a little bit of an offshore flow starting Monday and Tuesday, and that means it's going to be dry, windy, and hot. So eventually we'll return to the 90s. But hey, if you're heading up to watch the Timbers tonight, 7 o'clock, Seattle Sounders, they're at Providence Park. Comfortable, mid-70s at 7, 9 o'clock, nice clear, 69 degrees. So for your 7-day forecast, here we go. Watch those numbers just climb on up. Tuesday, a high of 90, Wednesday, 93, Thursday, 90 again. But don't worry, it does kind of come to an end. By Friday, we'll cool down just a little bit. But, you know, it's been in August where most of our temperatures have been in the low 80s, some upper 70s. It's been unusually cool. And I just talked to a group of ladies that just came through this leg. And I was asking them, I said, you know, have you done this run before in years past? And they said, yeah. And I said, okay, well, how does weather compare, you know, to years gone by? And they were saying by far best weather ever. So there you go. I think we got some happy campers out here.
I'm exhausted just thinking about it.
We're going to get you out there
No,
soon.
you're not. Do they allow biking? I can do that.
They allow walking.
I can do walking.
If Dan can't do that, Natasha, and run it, he can walk it. We'll try to convince him for next year.
I'll drive it.
We'll try.
Thank you. Okay, before we go, this is kind of